Hi everyone, welcome back. So I'm actually back at my mom's house, but in my previous video I asked you guys if you guys have any questions so I could answer in this vlog. I didn't get to answer as many of your comments as I used to just because I've been putting out so many videos. So I started out by asking on Snapchat, so we'll go there first. So I actually tried to do this in the car, but then Wyatt started getting really fussy. So I already opened the snap, but the first question is from Septi. She was asking, how do I manage my time with having a relationship, having a child, and in residency? So I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story about the teacher who brings in 2 glass jars to his classroom and fills it up with golf balls and asks if the glass of the jars are full, and then obviously they say yes, the jar is full, and then he continues to add pebbles and then adds sand and then adds coffee or beers or whatever, and it just to show that in life you have to fill up with your jar with big things first, which means like the important things, what's important to you, family, friends, your residency, your schoolwork. You just have to figure out what are the things that are most important, and then when you do have time, fill it in with those extra things. Like for me, my number one priority is my residency and my family, and so those are the 2 things that I know I get done every day. I have an obligation to work. I go into work every day. I give 100%. I come home, I'm a mom, and I give Wyatt 100%. And you know, I'm tired, but then I put aside time to study. And things that I enjoy, like going out, my friends, just relaxing, watching a movie, those things actually fall into place when I actually do have time. Or some things that have fallen off the wagon and that I really did enjoy before is going to the gym. And so I just don't have time for those things. Sure, I can sacrifice more time to go to the gym, but it'd be sacrificing time from Wyatt, or it would be sacrificing time from my studying, and those things are just more important to me than gym at this moment, if that makes sense. So prioritize, do the things that are most important to you first, and then do the other things after. And then another thing that helps me organize my time is bullet journaling. I've made a video on that before. I can link it in the description box or up here somewhere. I use that to organize my day. Also, I was with this cardiologist who did things like no 10 minutes are free. Like, you think 10 minutes is such a short amount of time that you wouldn't be able to get anything done, but actually you can get a lot of things done in 10 minutes. And so he would actually go through charts in 10 minutes, or he's like, oh, I have these 10 charts, instead of like sitting. He's like, oh, I don't have time to do all 10, but I'll do one of them, you know, so get things out of the way. Same with me. If I have 10 minutes, I'll do a practice test question. So you don't have to wait and be like, oh, I need a whole hour, or I need 2 hours or 3 hours to actually sit and study. If you have 10 minutes, if you have 20 minutes, sit down and do a practice test question. I use ComBank. It's just like a test bank type of thing. You can have flashcards with you. You can, there's many resources online that you can use. So that's how I utilize the most of my day, just because there's just so much to do. Yeah, so that's a very long-winded question, but I hope that answers it. So now I'm gonna go through some of your comments on the video itself. Hopefully I can answer as many questions as I can. I feel like my answers are so long that this video is gonna be so long. So the next question is from Kiana Miner, and she asked, what is a chief resident? How are people appointed? So a chief resident is just head of all the residents. They send out the group emails. They're basically the representative for all the residents. We go through them if we have any issues, or they speak on behalf of us as a resident as a whole. They have more responsibilities, and so their pay is slightly more you get appointed as chief resident through your peer. I think it depends on the program, but you're either appointed by your peers, so they vote, or the head faculty appoints a person as a chief resident. So I believe for my program, they elect you as president or chief, obviously. So in my program, they elect you as chief resident. Next question is from Meredith Wood. She asks, is it difficult to maintain a good relationship with a significant other while being a doctor? I think so Stan and I met before I went to med school, and he was with me throughout the whole med school process. And during that whole time, we were doing long distance, and things were fine with us just because we were so low maintenance. I feel like we're not the type of people who need to be together, who need to know what each other's doing like 100% of the time. I guess it's like a semi-cactus relationship if you've watched my other successful relationship video. I mean, but the time that we do get to spend together, we really enjoy. And so now we didn't even live together until we had Wyatt. And so I feel like with the family and with everything so new, it's more difficult to spend that quality time together, because now everything's all about Wyatt. And if it's not with my residency, then it's with Wyatt. So I think that's more of the issues with our relationship, just being able to find time for each other. And it's hard because when we're in Washington, it's just us. It's just me and Stan. And so Stan watches him during the day, I go to work, and then I have to watch him during the night. We don't have any days off, no time off at all for any of us. We don't, like, I don't have, like, my mom, I don't have family here, you know, so there's no one where we can just be like, oh, here, you know, like, please just take Wyatt for an hour. Like, we don't have that. We're with him all the time. And that's where sometimes we just get so exhausted. As for being a doctor, I don't think that affects your relationship at all. You just need to find the right person who understands you, who cares for you, who is willing to support you no matter the situation. And if you are able to communicate with this person, then the relationship shouldn't be difficult to maintain. So next question is from Marisol. She asked, how difficult is it to start a YouTube channel, and how did you know when it was a good time to start it? So I started my YouTube channel when I was in medical school, and I only started it because my friends wanted to keep in touch while we went on clinical rotations. After first and second year of med school, first and second year of medical school is didactic based, so that means that you learn in the classroom. The third and fourth year is when you go out to the hospitals, to clinics, and work with physicians and do more hands-on stuff. And so I started when third and fourth year was when I went out to the hospital and did more hands-on stuff. And and the reason why we did that was because my friends wanted to keep in contact, and they started a blog, so they wrote about their experience. And I'm a horrible writer. I would just sit there and try to fix my grammar the whole time, and so I was just like, I'll just film what I've been going through and share it with you guys so we can keep in touch that way. And so that's how the channel started, and it just kind of grew from there. I don't think that there's actually a good time to start YouTube. It's just something that you have to be passionate about and something that you enjoy doing. I wish I'd done it a lot sooner, because as you guys know, I mentioned in a previous video, I don't feel like I had many friends. And I always felt like in college, I felt so lost, and I felt lost, and I felt like I didn't have anyone, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I felt alone a lot of the times. And I felt with YouTube, I found this source of community and a place of belonging, if that makes any sense. And so I wish I had that earlier in life. you know, I'm glad I'm where I'm at now. I made some amazing friends in college, but it would be nice to have this it would have been nice to have this community earlier. Long answer short, there's no good time. So if you feel like you want to start now is a good time. So next question is from Feruza. Hi, can you tell how you prepared for step 1? So I think I've mentioned this again and again and again. The best way to study for standardized exams is to do practice questions. You have to do the practice question, preferably timed, and then after you finish the practice question or practice test, you go back and reread it with all the answers. So say the test question is asking about like ear infections and what bug causes the ear infection, and you get the answer right, you still have to go back and read the question, reread all the answers, why each answer is wrong, why each answer is right, even if you got the answer correct. I think that's what people forget to do, or they get so tired that they don't do those things, but that's what has been proven to increase your score the most, just because sometimes the reason why you chose a specific answer is not actually the reason why the answer is correct. And so going back and reading those things actually helps you learn. So getting a question wrong would probably help you more than getting a question right, but since you're getting the question right and reading the answer, it's supposedly the same thing. I remember for step 1, the goal was to do 10,000 questions. I think I didn't reach my goal, but I did around 8,000 to 9,000 questions. Yeah, it was a lot of practice test questions. For step 2, I did the same thing, and I'm taking step 3 in February, so I'm just starting to ramp up my test taking questions now. So in the mornings I try to do at least 25 questions, and then throughout the day, if I have like 10-15 minutes, I'll continue to do test questions throughout the day. Next question is from KDV. They asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Oh man, that's so hard. Just because I felt like I've changed so much in the past 5 years. Looking back when I was like 23, 24, I was totally at a different spot in life. I have Wyatt now, I'm a mom, I'm a doctor. It's crazy, and I'm a homeowner. So in 5 years, ideally, I'd be done with residency at that time. I would want to work independently or own my own practice. I would want to have paid off a huge chunk of my school loan by that time. I also want to own another house and possibly already have another child. So yeah, ideally in a perfect world. So next question is from Amanda. It says, hey Jenny, do you guys plan on moving to another state in the near future? So for those of you who don't know, I lived in California growing up. I lived in San Jose, which is Northern California, and then when I was 18, I moved down to San Diego, where I did undergrad. And from there, I went to Washington for medical school. And what's nice about that is that when you're young, you can move and live in different states and just experience the world. It allows you to see what you love, and you know, and then later you can settle down wherever you want to settle down. For us, residency is 3 years, so Washington is going to be my residence for at least the next 3 years. I always tell everyone that I'm gonna go where the job pays. So if Washington makes me a job offer that I can't refuse, then of course I'm gonna stay in Washington. We've made some great friends there. We own a home in Washington. The cost of living is affordable. The only thing that makes me doubt that is that when I came home over this break and I was able to be with family and just having help with Wyatt, it's been such like mentally, it has helped so much with us. Having help And so if I want to have another child or grow our family, I think it would be much easier if we had help. And just for our peace of mind, you know, like for our sanity, we need to either make more friends who are willing to hang out with us or just move closer to family. We've been talking about it, but we'll see where that goes. So I think this is already a super long video. So thank you guys all for watching. I wanted to let you know that this is going to be the last video of Vlogmas. Wyatt has still been sick. I had to give him more Tylenol last night. He was super fussy. I think I'm coming down with something too, like my ear is stuffy and I have a sore throat. So I'm just gonna spend time with family and hopefully nurse him back to health. And I hope you guys are all having a wonderful, happy, joyful, and healthy holiday season. And I'll see you guys back in my next video. Thank you all for the support, and peace.